Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, baby. Welcome to this episode of Money Monday on the Note Closer Show. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Austin, Texas. It was a gorgeous weekend. Great day to be outside, but also big shout out to those that watched the Masters, watched Rory McIlroy win the green jacket, but also win the Grand Slam of professional golf, which is phenomenal. It's always great when you see something like he's only one of six players to do so. Last one being Tiger Woods. It's nice that him and Tiger are good close friends, but just a great day to watch him overcoming battles, doing well, leading and getting tied, going to playoff and beating England's Justin Rose. Just shows the importance of having a strong mind, overcoming adversity, and really helping them achieve something they really wanted. Just absolutely great stuff. CBS did a really great job in talking about it, and I even was crying and shedding a little tear here for somebody who enjoyed it. I don't play a lot of golf. Played a lot of golf in college and stuff like that. Drank a lot of cold beer in college too, so my game was not that good, but enjoyed it. Haven't played in quite a while, but still, when you see something like that, it's enjoyable to see, and just awesome. Just an awesome thing. You know, may not like him. I know there's a lot of haters online, which I don't get so. Don't understand that because something like that is, he's been an ambassador for the game and is probably the most recognizable face, and you want to see somebody who's recognizable do well. But anyway, let's talk about you sinking some putts, making some holes in ones, doing well with your game when it comes to the note business. Shall we do that? Today's episode, we're going to dive into um, diving into this note tape that we posted in Basecamp for WC and crew members. It's 59 notes, non-performing stuff. Let me share my screen here as we'll go into this. So yeah, it's hard to believe this is episode 962 of the podcast. I mean, we'll be at 1,000 episodes here before the summer's out. Maybe by the time I hit my birthday in 6 weeks. That'll be interesting to see. But actually, 6 weeks of today, I turned, wow, awesome. My last 6 weeks of 47, basically. But anyway, happy birthday, everybody. But anyway, 59 notes, non-performing notes. We got this from a hedge fund. A couple of these I've seen before because it's a hedge fund's had some stuff, but they got some new stuff they bought. And there's some, I'll give you a bit of an idea of the map. There's a lot up in New York, New Jersey, which we probably won't spend some time on. But there's some stuff in nuggets across the country. Most of these are either in bankruptcy or in foreclosure. There's a few that are unknown about that. But the tape has been in our WCN membership. And for $97 a month, if you're wanting to look at tapes, that's a great bang for your buck to get access to our coaching calls, our webinars. Like we had Note Weekend this past Saturday with about 30 people on it, which is great. Got free class. But then we also, in 2 weeks, we have our next virtual note buying workshop for the 25th through the 27th. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So get signed up. We may dive in a few more of these assets, but bids are due on these assets as of today. Not saying that you can't get a bid or two later on this week and maybe still get approval on stuff, but let's do a deeper dive into this. Shall we do that? And start looking at these assets and breaking them down. All right. So the great thing that let's just go through the tape here. Hopefully you can see this okay. Can you see this okay there? Hey, Albert, good morning, buddy. Good to see you out of SoCal. I got your two bids in. Albert already got them into me. Was it late Saturday or Sunday? Which I'll get them sent out this morning. But anyway, so you see what I love it is when sellers put the column of bid amount, and that's where you need to put your bid. You have the loan number or the loan ID, the disposition, where they're at in the foreclosure process, what's going on. So this is a mixture of active foreclosures, active bankruptcies, or blanks. Okay. Borrower's name, property address, the city, state, zip, total UPB, unpaid principal balance, total legal balance, P&I payment, the escrow balance, the taxes and insurance constant, the interest rate, the maturity date of the loan, the origination date, the original loan amount, the current occupancy, if it's unknown, vacant, owner, tenant, occupied, that kind of stuff, the property value, if it was a BPO or AVM when they pulled value, you can see BPO or AVM, the date of the valuation. Most of these are from last year. There's a few from this year in here where the values are pulled, but they're all relatively in the last, well, we'll just say last quarter. No, we got something that go back to April of last year. So some of these are a year old, but that's okay. First payment due date, the deferred balance, if anything's been modified for, forbeared. Total balance on that, it should be like total. That's the thing about this. They had this kind of threw some total balance of 267, corporate advances, accrued interest, type of interest, and they had the total legal balance on here that was a little bit different. So that was the thing. They have kind of two columns on here that kind of say the same thing but have different numbers. Okay. Accrued interest, the type of interest, if it's a fixed or an arm loan, lien position, these are all first liens, I believe. Yep, no seconds. Servicing date, when it was the servicer, the due date for the next payment due is important. The last payment bucket, if there's no payments received or 120 plus days, you can see these are all defaulted. If they've been modified of any sort, when this modification date was, is the next column, original term, remaining term, BK flag, foreclosure flag. If the foreclosure was started at a specific date, if it was a BK when that date or the filing of that case number, which is nice. Type of BK, 7, or 13, where they were at in that BK when it was filing or dismissed or discharged, or if it's open. It says file referred on here. I meant referred to foreclosure is what I would say that means. First legal filed, yes, and first legal filed date. So service complete usually means they've served the borrower, is what usually it gets on here. If there's been a judgment submitted on the foreclosure, that's a good column to have in there. Yes, the judgment submitted date, judgment entered, yes, and judgment entered date. So it means they're kind of getting to the foreclosure process. Now, why some of these haven't gone to foreclosure yet is beyond me. But some of these, like this one where judgment was entered in June of 2020, well, that's going to take a while because that was during COVID. Why that has not been changed up, who knows, on some of these. But it's going to be really easy to kind of break these 59 down. Now, there are some of these that are decent and there's some of these that are trash. Let's just start at the top and work our way down. I'm not going to go these individual date, little by little. What I'm probably going to do, since most of these are going to be foreclosures, all right, or bankruptcy, active foreclosure, active bankruptcy, active bankruptcy, as long as it's a chapter 13, it may make sense then to do a loan mod, or not a loan mod, but to buy it and see the payment stream. Now, I'm not going to have time to go through and download all the PACE reports. I'm not going to even download one of them. I did download one on one that I was looking at, and I can see the borrower is making payments and just trying to find out exactly where that in the payment process. But that's something that you can do at pacer.gov. Okay. So let's focus on the ones that we think are going to be worth the most to pursue and go from there. All right. So first and foremost, let's get rid of the states we don't buy in. That's going to be relatively easy. So we select New York and New Jersey. Now, another thing on here, there is some in Alabama. Alabama has a 1-year redemption period. So even if you foreclose, you can't really sell the property until a year goes by. Same thing with Minnesota. Well, Minnesota is not on here, but Alabama is. So let's take a look at those. So most of these, New York, New York, New York, one in Alabama, two in Alabama, one in Frisco, and the other one in Birmingham. This one's an active foreclosure. The reason I'm looking at Birmingham is not too bad. Let's see here. Vacant. Yeah. Let's see if we go over here. This value in June of last year. They give the value at 134. That's an AVM. So it's maybe not accurate. Servicing date. No payments. Was referred to foreclosure. So you've got another year on this thing. Okay. Another year in a vacant property. I don't know if they're deceased or what. You'll have to do that in the search. But we'll leave that in there for the heck of it. Might be Frisco City. I have no idea. So we're going to get rid of all these except that Alabama one. A lot in Staten Island, stuff like that. I've got buddies that live in New York who live in Staten Island. Like, we don't even want anything remotely. Oh, there's 3 in Alabama. So let's get rid of everything except those 3. All right, now the thing with New Jersey, if these were vacant assets in New Jersey, you could probably get an expedited foreclosure on those. But New Jersey's a rougher area. A lot of these have not been. So let's just go through these. All right, so let's go. We've got Alabama, Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Maryland, Maine, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, and New Mexico. All right, so let's look at all those. Okay, so Arkansas, New Orleans. Okay, let's look at Illinois. Where are they at in Illinois? If it's Cook County, let's get them removed. Okay. Chicago, East St. Georgetown, Illinois. We're not getting counties on here. Ottawa. Yeah, we're just going to get rid of the Chicago one, the Illinois ones. Okay. Let's look at let's look at the ones in California. Let's look at the one in Kentucky. Maryland's got the new law. It requires you to be a mortgage broker there. Let's look at the one in Maine and Massachusetts. See if we recognize these. Okay. Santee, California. I looked at this one. It's not really exciting. We're going to get rid of it. Fall Rivers, Mass. We'll leave that there. I've got some friends up there. Fort Washington, Maryland. Louisville, Kentucky. No, we're going to get rid of that. Kentucky. No, you got to have a debt collector's license there differently in bonds. We're getting rid of Kentucky. Same thing for Covington, Kentucky. Otis, Mass. Okay, Masardis, Maine. I have no idea where that is. And the other one here in Kentucky. Baltimore, Maryland. We'll leave that. Fort Washington, Maryland, Mass. Okay, so we'll just leave some of those in there. I think let's look at Delaware and Kentucky just for the heck of it. Florida. Defuniak Springs in Florida. Okay. Pembroke Pines, Ponce de Leon, Fort Lauderdale, Davie, and Orlando. Okay. Not too bad. Where's this 8502 Lanonia Drive? Let's look at this real fast, just so we've seen it before. So share my screen. Oh, I've looked at this one before. Never mind. It's time to get, yeah. 8502 Lanonia Drive. This is the one in Orlando. It's been around for a while. Yeah. Like I said, this guy's had this tape for this guy's owned some of these assets for a while. So we're just going to get rid of that one because that one's an ugly POS. All right, the rest we'll leave in here for the time being. Okay, so now let's resort this by last payment date. Because if you're looking for notes that you can get reperforming, we want to look at the last payment date. When was the most recent payment made on these? All right, so let's go over and custom sort them. And we're going to put this, let's see, last payment date. Due date. Newest to oldest. All right, so that now takes us over here. All right, so we see due date here. Let's highlight these in green. All right, so you see some of these June 1st, May 1st, April 1st. There's 3 of them that are right at a year or less, okay? One's vacant and 2 are unknown. 120 days. So one was modified in 2020. All of these were modified during COVID. One was modified in 2021, and they stopped making payments 3 years later. This one was modified in July of 2023 and stopped making payments 10 months later. This one was modified in 2022 and stopped making payments 2.5 years later. So you can see these all been modified at some point, these first 5, right? Okay. So let's see where these guys are at. North Carolina, Louisiana, Connecticut, Covington, Louisiana, Brookhaven, Mississippi, Fort Washington, Maryland. Okay, so let's look to see. Obviously, if it's vacant, unknown owner, all right. Well, maybe it makes sense. Let's look at this one in Leicester. Oh, this one is a mobile home. I've already looked at this one. This very first one. I'm not going to waste my time. 50 Turner Cove Road, Leicester, North Carolina. They give it a value of 221,000. I don't think it's worth. That's an AVM, unless it's on a bunch of land. Let's look and see. Actually, let's look there. What the hell? Bobby Turner owns it. 50 Turner Cove Road. It's been family owned, I think. Yeah, 50 Turner Cove Road, 800 square foot manufactured home. Does it tell us how? Is it on acreage? Probably on acre. It doesn't give a square foot a lot. Take it back. Let's just look at realtor.com. So it's probably on some land. 5-acre lot. There we go. It's on 5 acres. Okay. But no photo. I don't necessarily want to own 5 acres out in the middle of Podunksville, North Carolina. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that one. We're gonna highlight it in red. Not waste our time. Let's look at this one in New Orleans. Now, New Orleans is a bit tricky to foreclose because it's all the French law. Copy that and back here to our try to map it and see what it looks like. New Orleans has one of the worst default rates in the country, one of the highest mortgage defaults as far as state-wise. So this is a 1488 square foot single family home, 3 bedrooms, somewhat probably 1 bath. Oh, it's a little red. Okay. Not the biggest of homes, but it doesn't look too bad. This is from February of 2023. Okay. So must buy a used car. Always that's the used car lot next door over there. But that's not looking so bad. That could be a possibility. Let's go back here to our spreadsheet. New Orleans, Louisiana. They owe total. Well, let's just get the P&I payments is $1,034 a month. It matures in 3 years. They originated it in 2002. Property value is 178 from 11. That was a BPO done 5 months ago. Okay. Total balance is 44. It's a 5-year term. Remain term is basically 5 years, they say. Okay. It was modified July of 2023. They started a foreclosure on it. Borrower filed BK. This back in 2005. Okay. First legal filed was December of last year. So it's the middle of a foreclosure. Let's look at here. Say 44 total balance. Somewhere between 40 and 48. Okay, so 48 is it's worth some more. Okay, value's at 178. Let's insert a column in here. And we're just going to say offer. And since they only owe 48, it's worth 170. I think it's worth more than 170. Or it's worth more than obviously the 48, but let's just say, okay, 80 cents on the dollar times 0.8. That means making an offer of 38. They're actually making a pretty good sized P&I payment on that, $1,000 a month to get that thing paid down. But if you foreclose, okay, 50, yeah, you make a pretty good return. $1,034 a month if they started paying it again. Let's do one other thing here. Let's do this. Insert columns. We'll just say 12-month P&I is equal to that times 12. We'll just put insert a column in here. We'll just say estimated ROI is equal to 12.4 divided by your 38. So that's a pretty good return on that one. If you pay 80 cents to the dollar, yeah, it's not so because it's a shorter term. They've only got a few years left on it. But yeah, if they start making a monthly payment, so that could be a pretty good yield. 32%. That might be a possibility. I gotta figure out what the licensing is in Louisiana, though. That's the trickier term. So we'll put a caution on that. Maybe it might make sense in Louisiana, it might not. Okay. All right. Let's look at these others here real fast. So we look at the difference in the BPOs on these 325, yeah, 199, 160, 60, 162, 192, 1.2. Where's this 1.2 million at? It's vacant. Where's this located? Oh, Fort Washington, Maryland. We're just going to get rid of that. No reason to waste our time on high-end stuff like that. To drag stuff out for you. Oh, I forgot to remove the low balances. Let's look at the low balance. Total balance. Greenwood, 15. Yeah, so let's get rid of some of these total balances that are low. We're not wasting our time. So yeah, 6,600, 10,000, 18, 20, 24. Mississippi, St. Louis, Missouri, Atlantic Stall. Let's look at the one in St. Louis. Just I think I've seen this one before. $54.15 Beacon Street. This photo's from 2.5 years ago. Hard to tell when there's no address on these dang things. 5414 right there. Okay, so across the street is this one. Oof, that's kind of ugly. Yeah, no, let's get rid of it. Do not want to own that property. One of the big laws: don't buy a note. You don't want to end up owning the property. Okay, so we feel comfortable getting rid of all these other ones. Alabama low balance. Greenwood, Mississippi. We'll look at the Greenwood, Mississippi one before we go. Now, this is my preference. If you like one of these, obvious by all means, go take a look at it. 205 North Stone, Greenwood, Mississippi. Yeah, this needs some work. Yeah, I looked at this the other day for one this was. Albert, I think we looked at this one together, didn't we? Yeah, sure did. Yeah, it's an ugly ass property. No, now this is from December 2023. It's probably been rehabbed. I don't. If it's a better one, maybe you can find something. But based on this, I don't think it's gotten any better. All right, so that allows us to eliminate a chunk of these, right, guys? All right, let's go ahead and look at the rest of these. Okay. Let's narrowed it down. We got down to 30 from 59. Let's look at, okay. Let's look at the values on these. We forgot to get rid of the low values. They're all $50,000 or greater. Let's look at the higher ones here. That's actually, that makes about sense. Let's look at this. Okay. Now, the ones that are vacant, we would probably get rid of. Let's just get rid of the vacant ones. How many of these are vacant? Okay. So a sizable one of these are vacant that we're not going to get the borrowers back on track. So those are going to be in stuff that you're going to want to foreclose on. Now, let's look at these here. Only one's been two have judgments entered. The rest of all started the foreclosure process. Nope, not even all of them have been. Let's look at a couple of these. Let's look at 15. See, this one we don't know. It's not active foreclosure. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. Total legal balance is 319. It's only worth 203. They're upside down on this thing. It's vacant. What does it look like? What's going on with this thing? 1545 Simpson Road. That doesn't look good, does it? Oh, ouch. 1545 Simpson Road. It's an abandoned apartment complex. Yeah, okay. There's some junk on this thing. All right, let's get rid of that puppy. Nope, we don't want that. Let's look at the one in Davie, Florida. Barbary. Oh, it's in one of these 55 plus. So let's look at images here. 442 Barbary Lane, Davie, Florida. Yeah. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 18 square foot house in one of the, yeah, single family built in 93. All right, let's go back here. Take a look at this thing. All right, Barbary Lane. This one is an active foreclosure. Michelle, and Donald Thoman. Legal balance is 703. It's only, well, it's worth 635. They're upside down by about 70 grand there. BPO, they filed bankruptcy, no payments, no BK. Well, yeah, back in 2013 or 2008 actually. Been dismissed. They filed it starting in 2023. So it's a foreclosure. So they're upside down. So on this one, it might make sense to make an offer. Yeah, I see quite a bit. See the original loan amount. They haven't. When did they make the last payment? Let's look at this. Date evaluation. First payment due date is 2005. Last payment for 2009. So this is a red flag here. Bet he's an attorney of some sort. Law Office of Michelle Thomas. Yep. Yeah, offering healthcare, directed power, attorney wills, and trust. So she's been dragging this thing out. Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna kill that. We don't want to waste our time dealing with attorney who hasn't paid in 15 years. All right. So let's go back over here now. This is vacant, but not vacant now. Yeah. All right. So looking at these things, what's going to make sense? All right, so let's run some numbers on here. Let's see if they've got any equity. On the range. Okay. Any equity? So this would be if you take the total legal. Property value minus run this all the way down. Oops. Hello. All right. So now we do see some that have equity and some that have negative equity. All right. So now going over here, let's custom sort it by equity. Largest to smallest. All right. So it's got 319,000 equity. All these coming down here to the last 4 or 5. These one that say 17, 24 grand, 30 grand below, we could say no equity. Okay. So let's go the offering side and say, okay, if you've got equity, we're going to do 80% of legal balance. It's equal to total legal balance times 0.8. Okay. We're going to copy that there. We'll see. Copy the rest of the way down to those that are at under 30 grand. And the rest of these is going to be equal to, I mean, 30 grand. It varies. When that was a owner occupied, was an AVM from April of last year. So then let's go is equal to the property value times 0.65. Right, so we got that. All right, so now we can we'll change these up. If it's vacant, you're probably not going to get the bars back on track. Okay, unknown. Let's change this up. Okay, so take the vacant out. All right, the rest of these, we can take 12-month P&I payments. Control C. Do it's equal to that divided by that. They see it's not really good ROI to just get these guys reinstated because they are low interest at 3.75. You know, they're not making much payments. The only one that really makes sense is the one we highlighted there. These two really it'll 10 or 11 or 10%. And it's unknown, right? This one down here, that's Brookhaven, Mississippi. Okay. All right, so the rest of these that are vacant are more foreclosure plays. All right. So you see on these the differences, there's about 20% difference. It's equal to, so what you the hang on here, offering, so it's equity. It's 80 cents to the dollar. So that would be that minus total legal balance. Hang on a second here. I got that's right. I said the VV. 286. Yeah. So this is actually the other way around. So it's equal to legal balance minus what we paid for it. All right. So if we can't get it back on track, actually, let's go ahead and make this, let's run that numbers all the way up. No, we can't. It's going to have to do this. So those are all vacant. So let's look at the one. This one in Charlotte is it's okay. I looked at that one before. The one in Oxford, Mississippi. I kind of like 1016 Suncrest Drive. It looks pretty good. You know, you offer 96. The legal balance is 120. You make, 25,000 the foreclosure sale or more. We sell for the full legal, but if it doesn't sell for the full legal, then you end up having a property worth 157. You're in at 96. Could be a pretty good deal. Let's look at this one. Offering. This one's 77,000. It's worth 273. Offering 177. Total balance is 248. Yeah, you make a pretty good thing. So what's this look like? This is in 62 Edgewood in Dover, Delaware. That's what it looks like. Mm. Wow, that's 62 Edgewood Drive that sold. This was rehabbed. So a bad looking property on this. When did this sell? So listed for 309 on December 1st. Sold April 10th. So it sold on Friday. All right. Well, let's go back here and take a look at that one. We picked out a decent one there. All right. So yeah, total legal balance of 240. So they sold it for this one. So we can delete that off of. All right. Well, all right. Let's look at the one in Las Cruces, New Mexico. New Mexico is a relatively faster foreclosure state. Las Cruces. Oh, okay. What do you got? A little two-story house here? Is it a duplex or what is it? Is it? It's 1128 across the street. So this is 1127 then. 1129. Oh, you only got half of it. You got the yellow house. Right. 1115. Says there in the street. San Francisco fan. Okay. So 1127 is this, I guess this duplex. It's kind of weird. So New Mexico on this one. Legal balance is 189. Value on this was only what? 117. That's why it's the 80. Eh. Yeah, you'd only sell it at the auction for about 117 at 70. So it's about 25,000. It's not really worth it. No, it's not right. Delete. I mean, there's a lot of junk on this, guys. You might be able to find something. Let's look at this one in Ponce de Leon, Florida, just for the heck of it. They only owe 87. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that sits on land. Yeah, yeah, it's a trashed out. Nope. We're gonna get rid of that. Yeah, I don't really like it. Let's look what's in Baton Rouge here. Louisiana University, Louisiana State University. Only gives a value of 44,000. Heck. Old Raff Meyer Road. Oh, that's why I spelled it wrong. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's not exciting. Was from something. Let's go over here. Let's spin it back. No, it's blocked it out, whatever it is. $664. So yeah, it's this, whatever this blur is here. I think. Where's his house in the back? It's hard to tell, isn't it? No, that. This one's rural route. No, let's look at the one in Fall River. I got some friends in Fall River. Fall River, Massachusetts. It's a tribe. Yeah, I've looked this one before. Hmm. All right, let's go back to the map on this one. This one's not so bad. All right, Fall River, Massachusetts. It's an active bankruptcy. Legal balance is 407. Property values at 562. 326 legal balance, 80 cents in the legal balance. So you could make a decent finish the foreclosure and selling it. Haven't made payments since 2021. Not modified. BK'd back in 2019. So they must have been making payments through the bank. Yeah, it's a 5 year. So are they making payments on it or not? That's interesting. That's a possibility. Good at that. But anyway, guys, take a look at those. If you see something that makes sense, great. I mean, this one here in Deadman, I looked at that one. It's not a bad looking little property, North Carolina. They did file bankruptcy, but their balance is below the 125. I think it got reduced to 98 from looking at the page reports myself. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you can find one or two that are decent, and the idea is to go that route, make some offers, go through the due diligence process, look at the values of the property, look at online conditions, see if it makes sense for you. If it doesn't make sense, then kill it and move on. There's more deals coming down the pipeline. This is just one small tape from one seller. There's plenty of non-performing stuff out there to take a look at. So go out, take some action. I think most of these are just going to be straight up foreclosure process. The ones that the borrowers are fighting, I wouldn't waste my time on these. They just don't make sense for the most part as cash flow wise. And make some offers, one or two, and we'll see this out. Take care, everybody. Bye.